Ahsoka teaches some Mandalorian students to take matters into their own hands. We watched The Academy for our Clone Wars Chronological Rewatch, so now it's time to break it all down.
Ahsoka is sent to Mandalore to teach students her age to effectively fight corruption on their planet. Some of them quickly find themselves in over their heads, but with Ahsoka's help, they discover the Prime Minister's involvement with the black market and place him under arrest.
The theme of this episode is those who enforce the law must obey the law. Oh, look, it's politics and Star Wars again.
What?
How'd that get in there? So, yeah, it's all about the fact that if the people who are in charge of the government don't stick to the laws that they're supposed to uphold, like, it's all pointless.
It's very relevant.
Yeah.
To the government today.
Yep. Pretty much everywhere, honestly. I mean, so Ahsoka comes in and says that, like, the people are the ones that are meant to keep their leaders accountable. Mm-hmm. And I like it. This is very much a continuation of last week's episode where last week it was just like, you have to know that something can be done about corruption. Like, that's the first step.
Yeah.
Step number 2 is realizing that, like, we are the ones that have to do something about it a lot of the times.
Yeah. Because if we don't step up and try to do something about it, it only gets worse.
Yeah, like we can't trust politicians and bureaucrats to do it.
Right.
They're not going to. The rich get richer, the powerful get more powerful. Like, it's all that cyclical stuff.
Yeah. So she teaches the kids, and it's all about educating the people how to handle these situations. So she teaches these kids on Mandalore about, like, what to do about corruption.
Yeah, and she says 2 things that I liked a lot. One is that a society's deadliest enemies come from within itself, corruption. But she also says that lasting change can only come from within. And that's why she's educating, because, I mean, I think history has shown that when governments go to other countries and try to, like, force what happens to me, like, you need to do things this way, it doesn't always stick. It doesn't end well.
Yeah, it's like the stick and the carrot for the horse.
Sure. But yeah, like, education is a much better way to go. And yeah, the kids that she's teaching take it upon themselves to do things about it.
I find it very interesting that Ahsoka says that line about the most dangerous people are within, and she doesn't apply that to the Jedi Council or the Jedi Temple itself, or, you know, the idea of the Jedi. It's just something interesting to think about. That she got a little bit blindsided on her own message.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point, is that, I mean, Anakin, the person closest to her, wound up being the Jedi's greatest enemy. Or, I mean, Palpatine, obviously. Yeah. That's maybe the bigger one. But for the Jedi specifically, you have Anakin, and you have the Jedi Council, who are just not very effective, and I think too blinded by the rules and not, like, the spirit of them.
Well, yeah, I think she's just so concentrated on learning as much as she could from Anakin and from everyone else on the council. And she does learn a ton of lessons and becomes this amazing Jedi, but it just kind of, like...
Well, I mean, when you're young, like, there's, like, this point where you always think that your parents know everything and they get everything right. Mm-hmm. And there's even a joke in the Ahsoka book about how her parents are Anakin and Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. So she sees them, she idolizes them and all the Jedi. Mm-hmm. And in her mind right then, she probably thinks that they can do no wrong. It's not the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was a really great point. Before wrapping up, let's go over some of the random pieces of trivia from the episode. The Mandalorian prison guards have a crest on their shoulder which reads, "In Defense of Mandalore."
During Ahsoka's lecture, the graph behind her shows an increase in corruption-related crimes on Mandalore.
The Mandalorian typeface seen throughout the episode was originally developed for the Slave One display screens in Attack of the Clones.
The park that was bombed in the episode The Mandalore Plot is seen again, having been cleaned up after the Death Watch attack.
You can also find those facts on StarWars.com's episode guides, and they're currently doing a rewatch on their website as well if you want to check that out. I'll put a link in the description to all the episodes listed out chronologically, but that's it for today. Next time, we'll watch Season 3, Episode 7, Assassin, if you want to watch along. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel,
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.